fabulous to be here.
It's fabulous. It's fabulous. It's more than fabulous. It's the fabulous ever was.
I can't stand to fly. I'm not that naive. I'm more than a. I don't know the rest. That's all. Thank you.
What panel is this? Did I walk into the wrong panel?
This is the fabulous panel.
It's a fabulous panel. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Welling's favorite fan.
His biggest fan, right here.
You can get these on my website. It's called My Number One Fan. I take it everywhere.
And he means that.
So, Tom, you had long, long days, many years, 10 years altogether up in Vancouver. Let's talk about some of the more interesting places you had a chance to shoot. You went to New York with Chris Reeves.
Yeah. We were just walking backstage in the bowels of this building, and it reminded us of shooting at Luther Corp, which was a sanitation plant in Vancouver, and smelled like it all the time.
But I think it was right around Thanksgiving, too, which made a Thanksgiving a sweet meal.
We shot all around Vancouver. One of the things we joked about is there's not so many pine trees in Kansas, but they seem to be the background of every outdoor scene we can do.
When you went to shoot with Christopher, I think he lived in Mount Kisco. That's where I'm from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was funny that you went there. Yeah, well, how was that working with him? I know it was it's an amazing time, but he was all into it, right?
Yeah, he was fantastic. The thing, I've never met before, and when people say Superman, that's who I think of, so I was nervous. And he had this great aura and I hope this comes off the right way, he didn't let you feel sorry for him at all. Like, he radiated such positivity, and he was only supposed to be there for a few hours, so a lot of times when you shoot a television show, there's two sides that you shoot. You shoot Byron's side and then my side. So we were going to shoot the two scenes of Chris's side so he could leave. So we shot his whole side, and they were turning around to shoot my stuff, and I was going to talk to someone else, and he wanted to stay, and I think he stayed 4 more hours until his nurse told him, if you don't come with me right now, I'm going to call the police. Because she had authority over him. And he kind of looked at me and he goes, there she goes, telling me what to do again. And he kind of chuckled, and he just had a great levity about him, given, obviously, his situation. It was just a real pleasure.
I like what he said to you. You told me that story where he says, you should be the next Superman.
Yeah, he said, I'm glad they chose you to be the next Superman. And I said, well, they didn't. And he kind of laughed, and he goes, well, they should have. So,
He called me and he said, I'm glad they chose you to be the next Jonathan Kent. And I said, well, they didn't. I'm dead. But,
No.
and then they called Michael.
It was Costner. Thank you very much.
And they called Michael and said, I'm not you're the next Lex Luthor.
And then I was like, I'm not. And he didn't even say he should be.
I think it was implied.
Yeah, it was implied, yeah.
Michael, branching off Inside View, which is an amazing podcast. We actually made that announcement in your... we did that announcement with Hollywood Reporter, our first interview together way back when, and that's blown up to be a huge success. Now you brought Tom into the market, and Talkville's been amazing. I'm curious, with that show, which you should all be subscribed to, don't just watch one episode, hit that subscribe button. Going back through the episodes, Michael, is there memories of certain co-stars or days that flash that you think would be kind of fun to tell the fans? Anything just absurdly cold with the bald head on a certain shoot and you had to be charming, but you just felt like this...
I don't know how many days I was charming when it was...
I can answer that.
Which story are you going to choose from? There's so many.
I just remember it being freezing, and they have rain towers, and this director, James Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, James. And he would just go take after take, and I'm just looking like this. I'm freezing, and I'm bald. And I finally go, that's it! No more takes, we're done! And he goes, one more. I go, no! There were so many stories, Tom, probably stories we can't tell. But, remember one time there was this really attractive guest star, and
What was his name, Mike?
I was in the makeup, John, and I was in the makeup trailer, and they had to put this like mask so they could spray my head so there was no hairline or whatever. And I had this like Darth Vader like, and she was spraying me with her mask on. Now I'm a makeup artist, and this beautiful guest star was sitting there, and I just took off my mask and I go, "Hello. I'm actually cute with hair." And then back to Darth Vader. So it was kind of a funny moment, but you know, it was par for the course. They paid you, shaved your head, and it was a good choice, don't you think?
John, you didn't get paid to shave your head, but you volunteered it for that Godfather montage at the end of season 3 when you're going into jail. Talk about this, making that decision, and then the reaction from Miles or Al when you said, "Yeah, let's shave Lionel's hair."
I don't think I do that now. I'm gonna get it down to here, I think.
But it was your idea, John, to shave your head on the show. Yeah, you were the one. You went to them and you said, "I think, you know, we should see it." They said they want you to shave your head, but you go, "I want them to see it while they're," so actually while you're shaving your head, they filmed it.
God, I had balls then. Those were the days. I used to be a somebody.
You still are a somebody to me, John.
We joked earlier about Superman and Clark Kent and actors playing them, but the honest truth is I literally don't know anyone else than Lionel Luthor right here. He's fabulous.
I had a ball playing that guy. Oh boy, was he a piece of work. A piece of work. Uh-oh, here he comes.
Say that again.
I wanted to ring you, connect some days.
We were the perfect family. Take a picture.
You were not alone, John.
Oh, man. No, that was fabulous.
Well, there's also like Emmanuel for you having to deal with Michael too. It's fun work with Michael because he's got such a process where he does this thing where he's kind of spinning and spinning, and you have to find a way to enjoy it, and then everything's fine, right?
Yeah, it's up to you.
And you guys gotta remember, you understand this, but like, when you're playing such a serious role all the time, if you're serious, you're just gonna go crazy. So I was always just trying to be joking and have fun, and the second thing, and sometimes the other actors would be like, "Oh my God, I need to focus, shut up." But, you know, for me, it was just like going, and then action, and then I could jump into it, and then I could jump out of this the second they say cut. And that was my process. That was the only thing I could do.
Certainly since then you've realized there are other people in the scene, though.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
Michael was very generous.
I think we have questions over here.
Oh, we have questions.
Yeah, you guys can start to line up. That would be lovely.
Now can you show everyone your tattoo, please?
Liz has a tattoo of me on her arm. Look at that.
Now I didn't get a close look at it. Is it a tattoo of Michael or Lex Luthor?
Both.
Hair on one side.
All right, y'all. So my question for you guys, and this is for both Johns and Tom and Michael. What is the best piece of fatherly advice that you guys have given to each other? Maybe like off camera, or maybe something you've taken away from Jonathan and Clark and Michael and Lex.
I got mine.
What you got?
Hearing from Jonathan. Now listen here, son.
Yeah. Then what? That was it.
Yeah, no, that was the advice.
That was great.
Now
Yeah,
listen
that was
here,
great.
son.
I think when I said that he was here to change the world, I can't quite quote it because you've seen it a lot and I said it once. But it was really, I think Miles and Al did a wonderful job of being able to write that sort of Yoda-esque. Uncle Jesse from Dukes of Hazzard, Uncle Denver Pyle had wonderful advice for us. So I try to incorporate not so much Yoda speak, but I think it was just great, the advice. But it was how, I think because we get along so well, not you. We get along so well that the touchy nature of Jonathan and Clark, I think, even more than what Jonathan may have said, it was the way that it was not actualized, but the way that it was delivered with love and respect. I think was really quite wonderful, and that was not you. That was. I love this anyway. That was our fault because I love this young man. Not so young anymore, but I still love him. He's catching up. He's catching up. And what great advice did you give your son, John? Lionel? Shut up.
I know what advice he gave me, electroshock therapy. That was his advice or whatever.
That's right. That's good.
I mean, you weren't a great father, were you?
Look at your back home. You got one. I gave you one. I could do Rose's turn. Would you like to see that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Next year.
All right, next question. Thanks, Liz.
I can't wait to hear your voice.
I think it's like this.
It's not very exciting, unfortunately. My question is, okay, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the DC Universe show Titans, but in that show, there are frequently episodes which just have the character's name, and that entire episode is a focus on that character, usually telling something about like a backstory or something that gives you context before we move forward with this character. So my question is, if there was an episode of Smallville titled after your character, what do you think the plot of that would be? What would you want to see that episode explore if it was just a spotlight episode just for you?
Amazing question.
I would love that because that means that you guys would have to do the whole episode and make it different. First thing that comes to mind. Mine would be the Where's Clark? And everybody has to be in every scene looking for him.
Did they ever find you in that episode at all?
At the end.
Okay.
I made it home and I didn't remember where I went.
You were asleep in the room and didn't look. Right?
Yeah. Alan Richardson was on that show.
I can't follow that.
I can't follow that either. I don't know. That's a tough question.
I think Lionel would fall apart. He'd get very weak and afraid. Ooh.
That's good.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
I think, the episode Leximus was sort of that episode where you could have seen what Lex could have been and what he could have gone on to do and lived a happier life. And, I always think of that. We just watched that on the podcast, and I was actually touched. I felt really weird because I never watched the show until this podcast. And then I'm watching it, I'm kind of tearing up here. I also teared up when you died.
Me too. I did.
Yeah. I did. I teared up. That was really emotional. But
I had a lot to do with that.
Yes, you
it
did.
had something to do with
Just
it.
saying.
All right, next question.
I think it would be sacrifice for Jonathan. The episode would be called Sacrifice. About sacrificing whatever it was in order to get to the pilot. What Jonathan and Martha were like before they went out into the field, before the meteor shower and all that. But I think it would be sacrifice and it would be worth it. To be a farmer, you have to sacrifice, right? We always said, I've got cows to feed. Right? Clark would come home from school and the script would say, Jonathan and Martha are there waiting with bated breath to see how their teenager's day was at school. I said, no, I don't care. I love it, but I've got cows to feed. So sacrifice, yes.
I think mine would be unfinished business.
Didn't I throw you out of the plane?
You tried.
You threw me out of the
I threw
plane.
you out of the plane.
Yeah, well,
and then I
anybody.
jumped.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
made a choice. I tried to get rid of you, but You just keep coming back.
Damn it! I mean, you're still alive in the mythology.
That's
you never
true.
died. You don't know what happened to you.
I know, I just disappeared.
Just disappeared.
Did you take Lex's last name in the marriage, or were you very forward thinking and didn't want to do that?
No, I think I took the last name. I was visiting. I mean, Luther, Bryce. I think I would take Luther.
I think that.
That'd bring attention. That would probably bring attention to you, though, if you're trying to live a normal life and you're like, Helen Luther. All right, next question.
Everybody, my name is Christian. Question is actually, I guess, to everybody here. Out of all the seasons, what's your best, favorite blooper, funniest moment of the whole show?
Blooper?
Yeah, the blooper. Yeah, something that you just couldn't get. Everybody was laughing or just having fun.
Well, you'll notice that in the beginning, season or two, there's more bloopers, at least that I'm in, and that's because I didn't sign the waiver anymore that said they could have bloopers because I come to the conclusion that the bloopers made the set unsafe. I totally just bloopered there.
It's Yoda speaking.
Because you wanted to be, I got to the point where I wanted the set to be a safe place to make mistakes, not something that goes, oh, let's just laugh about this and show it to everybody. I didn't agree with that. So the bloopers are more about Michael as time went on. But I do remember
I signed the waiver.
Yeah. There was a graveyard scene that we were shooting at 3 o'clock in the morning. Mersey was directing, Glenn was the cinematographer. And I don't know what happened, I don't know what did it, but Michael and I got what's called the giggles. And it's a very serious scene, and we just started laughing and couldn't stop. I didn't even know what we were laughing about anymore. And it was like, okay guys, and we just kept laughing, we lost our minds. And Glenn comes over and literally was scolding us. Guys, come on, Mersey's, we're running late, this and that. We're like, we just couldn't. We just couldn't. And literally,
Big Glenn.
Yeah. And I think we ended up slapping ourselves in the face because we just couldn't stop laughing. And I have no idea why. But that would have been a blooper that people would be like, what's wrong with it?
I just like the bloopers where I'm pissing John Glover off. You can tell that I'm doing something and he's just like, oh son. And but we always had fun. There was moments where we looked at each other, it was an intense scene, and then we almost act like we're gonna kiss each other, and we stop and we have a laugh. We always had fun, but the bloopers are great.
But there was a scene once, sorry to interrupt, where, don't interrupt. No, so you taught Michael this. We talked about this on the podcast, where you get so close to him in order to get into his space, and then Michael learned how to handle it. And then there was an episode where we had a guest star, one of his guards or something, and Michael decides to do it to that guy. And the director goes,
No.
God, Michael, don't get so close to the other actor.
No, it was better than that. So John Glover kind of taught me how to, sometimes you could touch the other actor. He'd say, son. And at first, in the first few times he did it, I was like, this is so weird. Ugh. And then I get used to it, and I go, it makes it really interesting. So one time there was a guest star on, and I'm like, listen. And the director goes, Michael, please don't touch the actor. What do you mean? John's doing it. Next question.
Wait a minute. No, we had a scene. Tom and I were out in the. I don't know what happened, but the cows. Again, it's about the damn cows. But the cows had died. So the cows had died. And we were out near the grain silo, and we're looking out. And so the cows. There's 10 cows out there, and they're all dead. And but there's a prop guy walking across the field, dragging 2 of these huge cows because they were fake. They were fake cows, and he was dragging these cows across the field. And I thought that was about as funny as a thing as I'd seen there, because they looked so real, and this was a little prop guy. I guess you had to be there. It's okay, Mike. No. Thanks, John. Thank you.
Michael, don't touch the actor.
You guys would have a rhythm a lot of times with all the scenes you would have, where maybe you'd feed a line or give each other advice on, let's do that take again. I don't think that's one we want the editors to use or have access to. And I remember, Tom, you had a great story about Lionel arriving at the door to see Martha, and you're standing there, and there was a moment, and you said, tell us how this is great.
I'm so embarrassed. I'm sitting right here. So I don't know what the scene was about, but yeah, Martha's there, you're at the door, Lionel walks in, and you're talking to Clark, you're saying your line, and there was this beat in between your lines. And being the jerk that I was, no, I kind of gave you the line, and you go, "Thank you, I was acting." And I swear to God, I will never give another actor a line ever again. Tell me that, thank you, because I don't know who I thought I was at the time. Tony Award-winning actor.
Next question, please.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Before I ask my question, whenever I see the great John Schneider, I always want to give him a shout out because I grew up with you first on Dukes of Hazzard, and I love that show. And I look back 8 years ago, I got to see you in Lakeland with your two Dukes cousins, Tom and Catherine, and that was awesome. I'm going to say here what I said there, though, in regards to Smallville, that you and the late great Glenn Ford, the best Jonathan Kent of all time. There will never be any better.
I appreciate that.
Now, also, you just, John, went through my first...
I thought you were going to say, but I just saw Lake Placid 2.
No. I don't know if we're on the same wavelength today, but you just went through my first two questions. You brought up the Christopher Reeve, and now you brought up the scene with the dead cows. They were my first two questions. So...
That was not one question in there, sir.
Okay.
There were answers.
Well, I know, but I did love in that scene your response to Michael, to Lex, when he said, "Oh, we'll make this up," or however that was. "Well, I'll make this up to you," and you were just so good in that moment saying, "Lex, there are some things that money just can't fix."
Right.
And that still sticks with me. It is one scene out of thousands, and I thought that was great.
That was beautiful. Do you have one?
Yes, since I want to go to my other question, which is, Michael, I've heard this on your podcast, but can you tell the story of how you as a cast got into management and said, "You got to get Tom Welling a driver"?
Yeah, it was really Schneidy here kind of spearheaded the whole thing, and we just were all on board because Tom was working like 14 to 16 hours, and we had to drive ourselves to work, and Tom was driving with one eye open every day, and he's the lead, he was the most integral part of our show. And so we all signed a letter, and you gave it to Peter Roth, the president, and said, "You guys got to get him a driver and take care of him," and they did.
Well, yeah, because Warner Brothers, they weren't there. They were in Burbank, so they had no concept of what was really going on. All they saw was the footage of the film of what we shot every day. So word on in the executive towers was that this young guy on this new show was being difficult. But I knew Peter Roth for a long, long time. He's the same bastard that didn't give me Longmire. But Peter, are you here? You bastard. But they were, so I called him and I said, "Look, no, you guys got to have dinner." I said, "If you haven't sat and talked with Tom Welling, you need to know what a jewel you have here. This guy, like Michael said, this guy is willing to work 12, 14 hours a day and drive himself to work. And I'm worried about him, but I'm also worried about your show. He's gonna die." We were out in the middle of Aldergrove, British Columbia, and he was living in Vancouver, driving down these new roads for him at that point. But it was a very dangerous thing. They sat down and they had dinner, and he said, "My God, this is a wonderful young man," and he meant it. He said, "We're really lucky to have him, and we're going to get him a driver." And all of a sudden it was your idea, Peter, you bastard. It became his idea. No, but it was we had to protect the not only the safety, but we had to protect everybody. And
the horse.
Had to be the horse, right?
Yes.
Tell the be the horse story.
I think you know better than I do. It was your advice, but I took it. What is it? I forget how you said it.
Well, we had the episode where there was a horse, and everybody was waiting for the horse, and then the trainer came in before the horse came in. Everybody had to be quiet and respect the horse because you didn't want to, have the horse go crazy because the horse had to lay down and all this. And I said to Tom, it was late one night there in Aldergrove, and I said, "You see how everybody is bowing and scraping and treating this horse?"
Respect.
With all this respect. And what is the horse doing? Nothing. The horse, is over there eating hay and pooping in the yard. Well, that sounds weird now that I'm saying be the horse. So I didn't mean go eat hay and poop in the yard. But what I meant was, garner, you're going to be doing this show for a long time. Figure out a way to garner as much respect and, in an odd way, kind of fear that nobody wants to upset the horse. So figure out how to be that powerful on this set, because the show is not going to work without you. So, and they will work you to death if you don't figure out how to do that. And then when I came back a couple years later, he had damn sure figured out how to do that.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. And I think I might have said, "You're the damn horse now." Right? It was great.
Young lady, come on.
Hi, so I've actually never seen an episode of Smallville. My dad and brother love it a lot, so I was just wondering, if I only ever see one episode, what episode do you guys?
The pilot, for sure.
The first one would be good.
Yeah, the first one, I think you'll be hooked because it's really a great episode. And then, there's a lot of great episodes. The one where you die.
Ask for one.
Not because you died, but it was a very dramatic
That was a
episode.
great episode, yeah.
There's so many great episodes. There really are.
I had one in a shower.
I don't want that to be your first experience. Smallville. I think.
Let's not get started on that, buddy.
Dad. The one where the transference, where Tom and Clark change the personalities. That was a great one.
Yeah, but if that's your first episode,
You'd be confused.
It's the pilot. You just gotta start. Or just watch the end.
Well,
Watch the first one and the last one.
the Tony Todd episode was great, and
Jitters.
Yeah, you had to keep shooting that, and there was hanging on the.
Just watch the damn show. Next question.
Could you imagine coming to a panel for a show you've never seen?
Yeah.
Yes, young lady. Please.
Anyway,
Wait a minute. It's the same.
Just to the other young lady, you are not alone. And as you may notice, I happen to be from the hometown, Rosie.
She's from my hometown. She's wearing a Castle High School jersey, and she comes here to tell me she's never seen the show. So,
That's okay, because he never graduated.
But I do have a question.
So she's a Rosenbaum fan.
no, she's awesome.
But I do have a question. So the Bill and the Berg, we all had our favorite places, and sometimes we get homesick for those places. What is one place from the Bill or the Berg that you would want to pack up and take with you out to LA? And the other of you can chime in also.
Pizza King is I go back home and I have a Stromboli at Pizza King. It's been there since I was a kid, and you guys don't know what it is, but if you're ever in Evansville, Indiana, go to Pizza King and have a Stromboli. They're freaking phenomenal.
We would like the next 7 fans to have seen an episode of the show.
We'll try to keep it brief so we can get to
No, but you remember the other story was in relation to, in regards to someone who's not seen the show. This doesn't make sense, this isn't a good analogy, but I'm at a table signing, and this guy's waiting for a while, and he's just like this, for my autograph, and finally he gets up and he just goes, "Gene Hackman was the best Lex Luthor." And I go, "I agree!" And he goes, "Oh." So it was funny. It happened, remember, Tom?
Yeah. That's funny, huh? That's funny.
Like, thanks for coming up and yelling at me.
Damn, who's that?
Yeah.
You gotta forgive me here. 8-year-old me's kind of freaking out because I'm this close to Bo Duke. I'm going to say.
I love
Don't make me slide over this table.
RV.
I did.
He drove me around and it was awesome.
That would have been amazing. I want to thank you guys for 10 years of making us believe that a man can fly, but in Tom's case, maybe just run really fast.
He might fly. Why
Well,
isn't he
I
yet?
flew at the end, but like 20 minutes.
How long have you flown, sir?
I'm a 12th grade economics teacher. I mean, like, I've got enough danger every day as it is, so I don't know. So I had a question and a backup question. They're both gone, so they've already been asked. Do you guys have like any kind of memorabilia or anything from the set that you've kept that you really enjoy? I guess that's my backup question.
I don't have one item. I wasn't savvy enough, like Michael was, to steal everything he could get to. Michael was literally ahead of his time.
Yeah. Well, you know, I always think, my mentality has always been like, if I'm doing a movie, hey, this could be my last. If you want to meet some guy, some actor you like and have him sign your poster, do it. If you want to take something from set, do it. It might be your last. So when I was in the show, I was like, you know, these things might be fun to have and keep around, you know, who knows. And so I took quite a few things. So I have the Zod trench coat, I have Lex Luthor suits, the white presidential suit, I have the glasses that he's always at the bar drinking. I have the ship key original, I have a lot of shit.
So
You have my knife from the
I don't have the knife.
Somebody, I had that, and somebody took it. I was sure it was you.
I know, I tell you.
Right? No,
So this is something for you guys and for you guys, and it made me a little sad when I heard this story. But I did a movie called Clear Cut that came out a couple weeks ago, and one of the camera operators on there.
Oh, congratulations for finding a film with Ball.
But that's, and I got another one coming out October 11th called Mafia Wars. But so this guy comes up to me, he goes, hey, I worked with you in Smallville, I was assistant prop master, and I was like, he goes, you probably don't remember me, but one of the things that happened after Smallville is that all the props that they had left, they were just sitting there. He went in, he got an investor, and he went in and bought the entire prop leftover department.
Wow.
For $10,000. Wow. Sold it 3 years later for $80,000. And who knows what it's worth now. But all the things they wouldn't let us take because maybe we'll have to use it again or something and they don't want to build another one. At the end of the show, it's literally just tossed out. And this is, 20 years ago? Not 10 years ago. Yeah, 12 years ago. But now we're all much more savvy about this kind of thing. But back then, none of us were really.
You know, there was a...
They did the same thing. They did the same thing with the wardrobe. Yeah.
There was this, in the Luthor Mansion, there was this piece of art where it was like a crazy doll woman with her head, and it was there for years. And when I was leaving the show, I said to the set designer, I said, can I have that? And he goes, I don't think I can give you that. I go, are you sure about that? And he's like, let me see what I can do. And one day he comes over and it's rolled up and he hands it to me, and I go, well, what are you talking about? I went in there and I saw it. He goes, that's not the original.
Oh, sweet.
He made a copy of it and put it up there and gave me the original. He was sweet. So he was in on it.
That's cool.
Next question.
So I want to thank you for a great show. I enjoyed it. It was a great deal. My question is for you, Rosie. I'm a fan of the podcast and a supporter, patron. But having played Lex for 7 years and also Flash in the animated series, which of the two do you prefer?
I mean, live action. You know, I love animation. I love to be able to, play the voice of someone, but to actually just be the whole character inside out it was a challenge. It's much more challenging to, the work that goes into it. When you say, I mean, it's just a lot, but I think I prefer that. But I like them both. Thanks, man. Thanks for supporting the show.
I have seen an episode, so binge and rewatch the entire series. And this year, as we were rewatching and then also watching Talkville along with it, we noticed an insane amount of actors from Smallville that have done Hallmark Christmas movies or Lifetime Christmas movies. And so we were wondering if you could call up Erica Durance, get in with Hallmark, and maybe do a Lex and Clark reunite over the Ghost of Christmas. You could have Paul Kent as the Ghost of Christmas Past.
A Hallmark Christmas.
Have Paul Kent as the Ghost of Christmas
We
Past.
could use Johns to like play our dads. That would be great.
I would be Santa Claus.
Or if you had plans for maybe some other, like animated or something else kind of to do with like reunion type thing with Smallville.
Well, Tom and I came up with this idea for an animated series, and we pitched it to Alan Miles, who created Smallville, and they loved it, and they're behind it. And when it's the right time, we're going to go and pitch that. But we got some great ideas. We'd love to bring back all the actors for the voices of the characters, and so we'll see what happens. We've been trying to do that, but it's going to take some time.
If we did a Hallmark movie, it'd be like grumpy old men. It'd be like the two of us like, you again.
Dude, how funny would it be for just us to play, just all to be in the same movie, the entire cast of guest stars in a Hallmark movie, playing different characters and stuff. Oh my God.
What a great idea.
You play the asshole, they'll play the nut down. Everybody plays the opposite.
Why not? Or we could do it like Galaxy Quest. We could just leave here now and save the world.
I love that.
I don't know how to save the world. Yes, you do. Yeah, you know how to save the world. Oh, that's it. You seen Galaxy Quest? Oh, those people understood both sides of the microphone. My God, it was great. Yes.
I had a question about props. Was there ever a prop that you used during Smallville that was a little bit harder to use than other ones?
Props?
Like a prop, like if there was ever something that you had to hold that was a little bit heavier than what you were used to, or if there was...
There was that...
Like Thor's hammer? Like Thor's...
Yeah, there was that... the Zod coat pissed me off.
But you took that.
I did. No, but they had this coat, and it was so long, and they had this wind machine, and they had me up on these wires. And so I have to go down to Tom, and so they take me on wires, and then I get down, and then I look at him and I go, kneel to Zod. And I'm mortified that I even have to do this. And every take is me on these wires going, action. I'm like, oh, shit. And it keeps turning, and Tom's looking at me because the camera's not on him, it's behind him. He's just going, God, you're such an idiot. And I finally get down on one take, and I'm like, I can't kneel to Zod. And Tom just starts laughing, but I was just mortified by that. And that coat was always going all over the place. And that helmet I wore in Onyx when I split characters, it hurt my head, bouncing all over around like an idiot. So yeah, nothing was ever as cool as it looked.
I'll tell you something about props, and one of the great things about Smallville is it came out at a time where visual effects finally got to a point where we could use them on television. And they did a great job. A lot of them hold up pretty good when you were out to show. But what I had to learn, and I think what we all kind of learned a little way, they would ask you to do things with crystals or things in your hand, and it was like, don't worry, it's not going to look like this. Just please hold this crystal really close to your face. Some of those crystals look kind of funny. And they'd be like, no, you have to hold things out like this. No, it's going to be wind, it's going to be all these things. And one of the first ones I saw, they showed me like a rendering, and I was like, oh, so then I was able to trust and not feel so self-aware when they were asking me to do things. But that was earned. Once that was earned, you could kind of go there and feel safe to perform. Because without those visual effects, the show would have lost a little element, I think. Because I think they're great. Yelling up in the fortress and getting sucked into the voids and all those other things. And, yeah.
Remember when you had the kryptonite rock and it wouldn't light up and the prop guy came and went... Okay. Yeah. By the way, we had a knife in Talisman that was a big knife, but for the fight you guys did you did a 360-degree camera maneuver, which was really cool. But the guy had to stab Clark with it, so it didn't have the blade on it. So it was just a handle. They put the blade in for just that scene. They put it in later. But for that whole fight, they had to act, they had to pretend where the end of the blade was, and I thought you guys did a great job.
Thanks.
Yep, that was a really cool shot.
Yep.
When he got stabbed and then bled in the kitchen, it was a wonderful.
Oh, by the way, quick question for Emmanuel. Did you know that they were going to bring you back, or did you just think it was one episode they just kept calling you back to play Helen Rice?
I knew that I was supposed to come back for a few, but I didn't. They kind of kept. I didn't know. It would be from day to day, the next episode. I knew I had a little bit of an arc, but I didn't know where they were going with it.
Were you scared coming on the show because it was already established and you had to come on as a guest star?
No. I mean, it was. I at that point I'd done that so much on so many different shows. I was the eternal guest star on a Jeopardy show. So I was I'm like, oh.
After you worked with Michael the first time, were you scared about doing that again?
She loved it. We got along great.
We did. There's so many stories I can't tell. I told them to John last night.
Next question. We had a minute left. We got to go rapid fire. Just ask a quick question. We can hopefully get one more in there.
So to John, Michael, I wanted to ask was which episode do you think you were the most evil?
When I threw my father out the window out of the building, that was pretty intense.
I loved my son.
So he didn't mind me doing it. Okay. Thank you. Next question.
What's something that you do that helps you cope with stress or anxiety?
I hang out with friends. I try to connect. I try to be present. I try to kiss on my dogs and just try to activity. If you're sedentary, you're in trouble. You have to get up and do some kind of exercise, or walk around, or play a sport, or do something. You can't just sit there. You'll get depressed. It's just science.
Agreed. Yeah, golf. Actually, Tom got me into golf. And golf is a great thing. Yes.
Sorry. Horses.
Yeah, your thing.
Manual horses.
Horses, riding horses.
John, what do you do for stress? What do you do for stress?
I hike.
Yes.
He hikes.
Yes.
Tom, what do you do for stress?
Every morning, right before breakfast, hike. Take a hike. Get your blood rushing.
Exercise is my go-to, and also just trying, in moments of when the stress is happening, try to remember to just slow it down. Your response doesn't need to be, you have a reaction, but you can control your response, which is a hard thing to remember in the moment, but it just slows things down, because really the pressure is what we put on ourselves a lot of times.
And gratitude. Just be grateful for whatever you have. Be grateful.
Oh, thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
No,
thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lionel.
Whoa! You evil son of a bee!
So my question is for all of you, but mainly for John Glover. What was your favorite scene to do as Lionel Luther? And anyone?
What was our favorite scene to do?
As your character.
As our character? What was your favorite scene, Tom?
No, he has Lionel.
Me as Lionel?
Lionel.
I saw a scene recently where...
Was I Lionel?
Yeah. I saw a scene recently on the podcast where in Lexmas, Lex goes to Lionel and asks for help to save his wife, Lana. And your performance is, no, I'm not going to help you save your wife, and it is ruthless.
Yeah, he goes like this. He says, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that.
That was my favorite scene.
I'm not going to do that, Lex. That was so, evil.
And then that was my favorite.
Thank you.
I want to tell everyone that we so appreciate you guys coming out.
Yeah.
We are on track to have a record number of Smallville group photos today. If you haven't bought yours yet, come out, get in line. We will be there until everybody gets to come through. And please be sure to check out the amazing Smallville Nights tonight.
Smallville Nights tonight. Hopefully you're